Halo semua. Oke, pada kesempatan kali ini saya akan menjelaskan tentang skema warna triadik pada tampilan sebuah aplikasi dan apa fungsi dari skema warna itu sendiri. Jadi, skema warna adalah untuk mengetahui pilihan warna terbaik berdasarkan pada teori skema warna yang bertujuan untuk membantu kita dalam menemukan kombinasi warna terbaik untuk keperluan dalam mendesain sebuah aplikasi yang kita buat. Maka dari itu, penggunaan warna merupakan suatu kewajiban dan mengetahui cara menentukannya adalah hal yang baik untuk menunjang kebutuhan desain. Pemilihan warna pun harus tepat sesuai target audiens yang akan menggunakan aplikasi kita. Karena warna adalah salah satu komponen yang sangat penting dalam pembuatan desain. Dibutuhkan pemikiran yang cerdas dalam menentukan komposisi warna yang tepat demi mendapatkan desain yang baik dan profesional. Apabila sembarangan dalam pemilihannya, kemungkinan gagal menghasilkan desain terbaik adalah sangatlah besar. Salah satu skema warna yang akan kita bahas pada kali ini adalah skema warna triadik. Skema warna triadik ialah jika sebuah segitiga sama sisi ditarik di atas roda warna, sudut yang akan menyentuh tiga warna itulah yang dianggap warna triadik. Dan ini gak ada hubungannya sama sekali ya dengan teori konspirasi. Skema warna triadik memiliki kombinasi tiga hue yang relatif berjarak sama dalam color wheel. Pada gambar ini merupakan contoh dari skema warna triadik, di mana terdapat tiga kombinasi hue, yaitu hue warna merah, kuning, dan warna biru. Ketiga hue ini merupakan warna primer, sehingga memiliki jarak yang sama dalam color wheel. Akan tetapi, penggunaan warna primer tidak disarankan karena membuat desain kita terlihat kaku dan tidak menarik. Berikut ini adalah video tentang skema warna triadik.
Welcome back to the Color Theory series. This is episode 10 and we're going to be looking at triads. It's a big episode since we have 52 different examples to get through for the triad color schemes, and you may be wondering how you can have 52 different permutations out of 12 colors for a triad. A lot of people would just see a equilateral triangle like this and figure out there is only 4 different ways of using this layout with 12 colors. However, triads are just 3 colors, and therefore you can have triangles like this, like this, like this, and even kind of like a line like this one. So we are going to go through all the different examples for all of these. So fasten your seatbelt because this one is going to be fast. So this is the first triangle we're going to be looking at, and this is the equilateral triangle, and it's a really nice one. You start off with something like this where you get to hit the 3 primary colors, the yellow, magenta, and cyan, and it looks like this. For the examples, I painted 3 colors for each examples. For the first few of them, I did go ahead and mix up the colors in between so that you can see that some triads are gonna make kind of more of a muddy, unexpected colors that you might not want, so you do have to be careful. In the late examples, I've not mixed them as much, just so that you can appreciate the color scheme with just the 3 colors. So this is the first one where you get to use the A, E, and the C bracket well. Then we move on to this, which is this, where you get to use the B, F, and D bracket. Then we have this where you get to use the C, A bracket, and E bracket like this. And as you can see, it has the potential to mix very, very dark neutrals as well if you end up mixing all three. I find it amazing that the ultraviolet decided to move in so fast through the Scarlet Lake. And if you're wondering what colors I'm using for this, I have made a video about that earlier in the series, which I will link up here for you so you can see what colors to put in and in different brands. Next one, we move along another well and we go to D, B bracket and F bracket. And that's it for this equilateral triangle, because if we move one further on, we're actually back to A, E and C bracket, which is exactly this. The second triad we're going to be looking at is a lot more of a cheese wedge shape, where you get an apex of one color, and then we come down here and use two colors either side of the complementary color. And this is why sometimes this triad is called the split complementary color scheme, because you're going down to the complementary color and basically splitting it into two. And this color scheme is really great because you are using the complementary colors almost, but it's not as in-your-face complementary as just using the two complementary colors. And it's also a great option if you want to use three colors instead of two. So we start off with the apex pointing at the A, which makes the split complementary be the F and bracket B, and it looks like this. And with the split complementary, you can see that it can create a lot of neutrals, and that's obvious because it is mixing almost complementary colors, which we learned in a video. If you mix complementary colors or near complementary colors, you're going to get lots of neutrals, or as some people might call it, mud. Then we move on to the next one, where we point at the B, and its tail ends are A bracket and C bracket, and it looks like this. So if you are using split complementary palettes, I don't recommend letting the colors mingle too much, because you can get a lot of this mud colors. Whereas if you just look at these three colors on their own without the mixed up neutral colors, they are really, really vibrant palette. And then we move on to this pointing at the C well, which create bracket B and bracket D as the tail ends, and it looks like this. Followed by pointing at the D, looks like this. And let's point at the E, which makes the split complementary colors the D bracket and F bracket. And actually, when it's not mixed up like this, this is actually my favorite color scheme of using the quinacridone rose, the phthalo turquoise, and a very light yellow green. And I actually did a series called Sanshoku, which means three colors in Japanese, using these three colors. So if you want to see what you can create with just one triad color palette, I will link it in the description down below, my webpage for that series. Then we move on to pointing at the F, which creates the F, E bracket and A, which I also really like these three colors in combination, but probably not mixed up in the middle like this. Then we move on to pointing at the A bracket. So we have A bracket, F bracket and B color. And then I've stopped mixing the colors so much so you can really see how the three colors play against each other rather than having to see between the muted colors. So we have pointing at the B bracket, which is the ultramarine, and then A and C.
Jadi kesimpulannya bahwa warna dalam desain tampilan sebuah aplikasi itu adalah salah satu kunci utama untuk membuat tampilan pada aplikasi kita lebih menarik dan nyaman dalam penggunaannya. Karena penggunaan warna yang tepat akan membuat para penggunanya tidak sakit mata karena salah dalam menggabungkan kombinasi suatu warna. Oke, sampai sini saja. Sampai jumpa. See you next time.